Hey guys, welcome to my channel. So, today's video is going to be about women regretting motherhood. Yes, women regretting motherhood. So, I have a few stitches I wanted to share with you guys. I want to give my opinion on some of these videos as well. So, stay tuned and hope you guys enjoy this video.
I consider myself someone that stands 10 toes down on the fact that I regret motherhood. It's like I don't regret my daughter, I regret the role.
I think people are rubbed the wrong way about it because most moms feel that way.
Yeah.
And you're not allowed to say it.
There is an anxiety that I have developed having a child that never lived in me before at all. The fear of even when she's not with me and I don't have to be selfless, I'm still thinking about, is somebody going to hurt her? Is a fucking earthquake gonna happen? A mother is like who I am, like at my core, and because of that it consumes a lot of my thoughts and I fucking hate that.
I need space from my child in order to be a good parent. I can play as much as a 34-year-old woman can play.
Yeah.
But like feeling guilty about that too. Like I chose to be a mother. You're supposed to love every part.
One day she's not going to want to play with you.
She's not going to want to play. You're going to wish you played. No, I won't.
Why are women ashamed of saying that they don't want to be mothers? I mean, the minute you open your mouth and you say, hey, I don't think this was the right decision for me, you get judged so much. Yet, when fathers decide, you know what, this isn't for me, I actually got way too much than I can handle, so I'm gonna go ahead and head out. Nobody bats an eye, right? It's normal. But when it's a woman, everybody has to give their opinions. Why? We are sold this fantasy about motherhood, about marriage, that Disney fairy tale. But when women get into that so-called fairy tale, they realize it's not a fairy tale, and if they open up, if they try to speak up, they get shut down automatically. So, another thing for me, I don't know why we're not showing children, well, let me not say children, we're not showing young adults who are in high school, like, junior year, senior year, because those are usually around the age they start trying things, they start getting pregnant, some earlier, but majority of the time those are around the age they start, experimenting, so start having boyfriends and stuff. So why are we not showing them childbirth videos? I mean, seriously, why are we not showing children fibroids, how do you say that, fibroids, period cramp videos as well? Like, allowing young men to understand a woman's body so they can have more respect for it, because that's really where it starts. Also showing them childbirth to have more respect for women and not just expect that I'm just going to, have children for you, no ring, no security, no respect. So yeah, I mean, let me know in the comments, do you think that's too much? I mean, if they can start experimenting, if young men can start asking young women for sex, they can start asking for fellatio, they can start asking for all those things, then we can start showing them, oh, okay, cool, no problem. Here's what a woman goes through when she's pregnant, when she has her period. Here's what a woman in postpartum depression looks like, how long she has to deal with that. Months, years. I mean, those things should be mandatory, in my opinion.
I'm actually scared. I don't know if I want to be a mother anymore. Growing up, I've always wanted to be a mom, but the older I got, the more I understood the world, the worse the world got. I'm starting to change my mind. I feel like a lot of women were lied to about what motherhood really was. Growing up, we thought it was peaches and roses because a lot of women, they didn't feel a space to feel comfortable enough to say how they really feel about motherhood because they were so severely judged. But now that we have the internet, we've seen the truth. A lot of women are coming out with the truth and they're saying, no, this is not what you thought it was. Also, the older I get, I didn't know how demanding motherhood is. The kind of person I am, I need breaks. I need mental breaks. When I'm sick, I like to go in my room and lock myself in the room and close the door. And then other mothers, I hear them talking about the constant worry when they go to daycare and the constant worry when they're not in their possession. I'm already an anxious person. And it's such a beautiful thing to be a mother. I help women become mothers, and I myself don't know if I want to be one. Anyway, I had to express my feelings. Kind of makes me sad. I love children, but mentally, I don't know if I could deal with that in the capacity that it takes to be a mother. And I salute to all mothers because, oh my God, what a job.
When I read the study Regretting Motherhood by Orna Donath, mothers who admit regret shot up to number 1 on the list of people who I respect most in the world. And that probably sounds really weird to anybody who hasn't read the study, but you need to read it to understand or listen to it. Because the truth is that we commodify and borderline fetishize motherhood from day one for people who can give birth. And I know this because I've been exposed to it from day one, and I knew from a very young age that I was never meant to be a parent. But if I had given into that socialization, that pressure, that commodification, because it is tempting sometimes, it does look like a fairy tale sometimes. If I had given into that, I would be in a position right now that I don't know if I would even survive. And that's why parents who admit their regret, especially mothers, have my utmost respect.
For some reason, going to therapy, doing the work, getting to know yourself, understanding yourself, your triggers, and all of that gets you in trouble, gets you demonized by mothers when you tell them you are child free. Why? You get asked so many stupid, genuinely stupid questions when it's like, I don't have to explain myself to you. Like, I have gone to therapy, I have seen people with kids, and I have made the decision that I'm still working on myself, and those traumas that I have, I do not want to bleed that into my child. Isn't that something that people should applaud you for, be happy about? Like, wow, you really are, making sure that you are bringing healthy, mentally stable human beings into this world for the next generation. Wow. I believe we should get a round of applause.
I regret having children and I wish I could just die instead. Hey, please can you give me some advice on what I can do? My 4-year-old child is driving me crazy and it makes me so miserable. I have not known peace since the day I gave birth to him. I thought being a parent would be easy because I'm selfless, but I've quickly realized that this is not the case and I really hate this child. He always has something to say, he always complains about something, and he always have a response to everything I tell him. I could ask him things as simple as put up your underwear and he will still go ahead to complain. He never listens to anything I have to say at any point in his little insignificant life. I hate raising him so much and I wish I could just take poison and die. I am miserable in my house every time he's around and I only feel happy when I send him to visit family. I am considering taking him abroad to a boarding school where I can then become a part-time parent. I'm a single parent with no support. I can't even have a shower in peace and all of a sudden he needs to go to the toilet as well. He's always overreacting and always hyperactive to the point where I just cannot bear it anymore. I wish I had an abortion. Please, can you let me know if these feelings are valid or if it's just me?
Can we all just take a moment to think about the trauma that child is going to have? You just take that child and you send them to boarding school, right? Because you can't deal with it, you can't handle it, because you were, again, sold a fairy tale, right? Now, isn't that how most children get abused? Boarding school? This is the type of stuff, the type of situations, scenarios child free people think about. And we are considerate enough to say we are not going to do that to our kids. We wouldn't want that for ourselves. We know what it would do to us. So we're not going to subject a child to that, an innocent child. Yet again, we have to constantly defend ourselves. We have to constantly tell people, well, my reason for choosing not to have a child is a good reason. I am done trying to convince people. Okay? This video is for y'all out there who are choosing to be child free, men and women, and who are standing on business, standing on your decision. This is a daily reminder. Save this video, like it, put it somewhere so you can come back to it whenever you need to as a daily reminder why you standing on business. Okay?
I was a horrible mother. Horrible. I was a great father.
Hold on. No, we gotta unpack that.
I was a horrible mother, meaning when my kids were growing up, I didn't know what mothering was. I didn't understand it. And because the father wasn't in the home in a positive way, I did the providing, I did the protecting, I did the guiding, and I didn't do the nourishing, the nurturing, the affirming. I didn't do that. I didn't have time. I had 3 kids and a job and a crazy man. So I had to protect them. I had to provide for them. I had to get the rent paid. I had to make sure that they had structure and system. The things that the father would have done had he been there, I had to do. So I didn't have time to wipe boo-boos and bake cookies and tell you how cute you are and how much I love you. Come on, let's get this done. We got to go. That's daddy. Come, baby. Let me tell you what we're going to do today. That's mommy. I didn't get a time to do that.
So I had to go off camera and just collect myself. I have now found a new level of respect for my mother. I'm someone who's so sensitive. I'm someone who before therapy was literally just having, you know, boyfriends just for physical touch. Not necessarily, SCX, but like hold hands, someone to talk to and stuff like that. Why? Because my mother was my father. She was working hard, getting us out of an apartment, getting us in a 4-bedroom house in a gated community, making sure there's food in the fridge, right? That's what she was doing. She was too busy being my father. And so when I would randomly, I'm home, I moved out, by myself. And sometimes I just cry and I'm like, damn, like, I just wish I had a bond with my mother. I just wish sometimes I got more hugs. And now this random video, this random video got me thinking in a different way. I love learning, I love growing, and this is why I have my channel to just share. And when I look back years later, I want to see that I stood on business, and see how much I've also really grown. And don't get me wrong, sometimes you might say you don't want a kid and you change your mind. That is okay. You have the freedom to do so. But make sure you have done the healing, you have done the work. And like I said, I be home alone crying, and these emotions are coming up. I know that I'm still in the process of that healing. We are constantly going to be in that process of healing. And so giving ourselves time to know, okay, I'm at this level and I want to be here and feel ready to, decide to have a child. Will you ever be ready? Probably not. But there's certain things you can make sure are in place before you have a child. That's a fact. So keep working on your credit, keep working on that business, keep, traveling and getting to know yourself. Those are things that once you have a kid, it will be a little bit more difficult for you to do. Point blank, period. I don't want to hear nothing else. Is it still possible? Yes. I've watched my godmother, I like to say the one of the strongest women that I know, besides my mom. I've watched her go to school, take care of 3 kids. Her husband, helps her out, but I mean, I see her literally like driving an hour going to Miami, an hour coming back, studying, helping the kids with schoolwork. So seeing, women doing those things, yes, it's possible. It's going to be harder for you to do it with a kid, but it's possible. So do those things before the kid, right? So that when that child comes, you're just enjoying your child. You're indulging in being a mother, right? You're going to have to, especially as a first time mother, you're going to be dealing with, your body, postpartum depression and all of that. You can just focus on you, focus on therapy, focus on healing, focus on working out, focus on your baby, right? I don't understand why people are so angry at us for literally thinking logically. I don't get it. But I lost my train of thought a little bit. So I'm going to put in that last video, and don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Please be respectful down in the comments. Please, we can have conversations, but be respectful. And yeah, thank you. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.
What is something that you'll get a lot of hate for if you say it out loud?
That a lot of parents out there regret having kids. A lot of women have been sold on the idea that being a mother is everything, and that if you don't have kids, then what good are you? And then once they have kids, it's not all flowers and roses like they've been told. Nobody tells the truth about the real cost in having kids. Babies are born sick and they have ailments. Partners can't handle it and they bail. And then it's a great disappointment that the child grows up to be something totally different than the idea that you have in your head. And once the resentment sets in, they tend to lash out at people who chose not to have children, mostly out of jealousy because they have the freedom to do things while you still have a child attached to your hip. So if you're considering having kids, think long and hard, because having a child is a lifelong commitment. It doesn't end when the kid turns 18. It lasts a lifetime.
So imagine you planned out what you want to instill in your child, what you want your child to grow up to, think like, be like, and you work hard on that. And, you sacrifice, you spend the money and send them to certain type of schools. And that child turns out to not be the way you wanted that child to be. Some people cannot handle that. Some people don't allow their children to have their own type of identity, right? But in this case, I want to focus on, you try so hard, you have this idea in your head, this fantasy that you were sold, so you plan certain things out, and your child is not turning out the way you thought. Some people just emotionally, mentally, they can't handle it. They're going to feel like failures. Again, we do not want that. As child-free people, we think about those things. So I can be a better person, not walking around angry, pissed off, or just disassociated. Is that even a word? So we decide, you know what? We are going to make this decision and it benefits all of us. I get to be a better human being, a better neighbor, a better person in traffic. I'm not busting out cussing for no reason. So again, what more do we need to tell y'all? What more do we need to say for y'all to just get it and stop calling us selfish? None of these reasons are selfish.
Every parent on the planet falls into one of these three categories. I did a video about this on my YouTube channel back in the summer of 23, right? But because of all the comments I keep getting on here talking about how I'm going to regret my decision, we need to talk about all the parents who regret their decisions. They're all over social media now. It's becoming more and more acceptable to talk about their regrets. But don't worry. If you are a parent, you fall into one of these three categories without a shadow of a doubt. So first, we have category A, the parent who absolutely, we're going to just talk about mothers for the sake of this video, because a lot of fathers are really not that involved in their kids' lives, so they don't really count in this video. The mothers who absolutely enjoy motherhood. They don't whoop their kids, they don't beat their kids, they don't yell at their kids, they don't make their kids feel bad about themselves. They take all the challenges with a smile, with a grain of salt. Even when it gets challenging, they just love being a mother. It is like the best thing that's ever happened to them. Then you got category B, the parents who absolutely, the mothers who regret motherhood. They absolutely regret motherhood. They love their kids. They will do anything for their kids. They will die for their kids. They can't imagine not having their kids in their lives now that they're here. But if they had to do it all over again, if they could change the person or the people that they had kids with, if they could change the timing of when they had kids, if they could change anything about it, having kids, period, many of them would choose not to. And the key component in this category is that they will admit it to you. Now, category 3 is the exact same as category 2, except they won't admit it. In my personal opinion, the vast majority of the population, and I'm talking like 80 something, high 80 percentile, in my opinion, falls into category 3. The vast majority of you guys will never admit your regret. Now, like I said, here on TikTok, on all the websites, all of these social media forums, there are more and more and more women coming out talking about their regret. So it's not as taboo as it used to be, because you couldn't admit this stuff back in the day. But now more and more women are talking about this. So because we know that there are so many parents, mothers out there who regret their kids, why do y'all keep telling child-free people that we're going to regret not having them, when there are so many of them who regret having them? And I tell people all the time, I would much rather regret not having kids than to regret having them. Because if I don't have them, the only person I'm hurting is myself. If I have them, I'm hurting them. I'm not even hurting myself if I have them. I mean, I am, but I'm not. I'm actually hurt. They're going to be the ones that suffer the most. So I would much rather not put a child through that. But like I said, the vast majority of the population falls in category 3. And the smallest amount of the population, in my opinion, less than like 7%, falls in category 1. So there's my take on that. Stop telling child-free women that we're going to regret our decision when there are so many mothers out there who are miserable every day, all day, every day, and they regret having their children.